All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo, joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Big D, Daryl Ortiz. We are on the road to, I would say the road to Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
but
with a pit stop
pit stop with Saturday Night Main Event again
in
before. So we
San
got
Antone.
couple
Yep,
of weeks. We'll call it a couple of weeks of PLE. Saturday Night Main Event is basically a PLE at this point.
basically.
So
They
a
treat
couple
it
of
that
weeks of
way.
that. They
Yeah.
definitely do. And they're both going to be technically NBC ish because we got NBC for Saturday Night Event, and then Peacock, which is also owned by NBC, is going to be
That's
running
true.
running the Rumble. So it'll be back to back weeks for them. But and before that, we got some action to recap in the setup for that from both Raw and SmackDown. So Big D, kind of take us through highlights from Raw this week.
Yeah, a little bit of a shortened Raw this week. I think we had 3 hours last week. This week was 2.5. And I saw an interview from Triple H where they asked them like what the runtime was going to be because technically now they're not held to like a time slot anymore. They can run as long as they want, and
Mm-hmm.
Triple H gave the most like political answer, but it makes sense. He said that it's going to run as long as it needs to. You know, they have a storyboard goal in mind, and they're going to work to achieve that. And if it takes 2.5, cool. If it takes 3, cool. But in his opinion, the sweet spot was like in between 2 to 3 hours. So that's pretty much what we should expect. So
Yeah.
I was expecting 3. I was surprised when it was 2.5, but it didn't feel that way. It felt like a well paced Raw. I actually enjoyed it. So we started out, of course, with CM Punk coming out, declaring for the Royal Rumble, trying to do this whole typical babyface stuff, and then he's interrupted, of course. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, they also declare for the Rumble, and it pretty much turns into a big old confrontation. And that's pretty much the end of it. That's like their
Yeah.
storyline. Like it's like the trio. So I'd imagine Punk is probably going to eliminate Drew for revenge because it was Drew who injured Punk at the
Yeah. In the
Rumble when
last
Punk
Rumble.
returned, I
Yeah.
think, if I'm not mistaken. And I
Yeah.
know
He
folks in
injured
the
him on
comments will
that.
keep
It
me
was that
honest, but
double underhook
yeah,
DDT, and then he
Future
like
Shock DD.
yeah, Future Shock DDT, and that's where he tore the tricep muscle.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
So I
think there's
expect Punk to get some revenge. So that's just a
yeah.
little tidbit I want to throw in there. Seth is probably going to just throw out CM Punk, I'm assuming, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
After that,
lots of big names for the Rumble. It's like that
yeah, I feel like
like
everyone and their mother declared for the Rumble already.
yeah. Well, and this is where it feels like these last couple of weeks really are just like the mad dash to the Royal Rumble because it's just declarations. Like we're
Yeah.
moving everybody into place for the Royal Rumble now is really
Well,
what it feels like.
and okay, so I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like the declaring for the Rumble thing. I hate it. I don't like it because it takes a lot of the mystery out. I mean, we all know everyone on the roster is going to be in the Rumble at some point or another. Like we don't need people like declaring. It's like getting up in the morning and saying like I declare I'm going to the restroom. Like no, duh. Like we know. But I mean, I get why they're doing it. They're trying to build for the casual fan or the new fans and all that good stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
I I feel like to me it kind of loses steam because then it's almost like this segment was a perfect example. Like CM Punk gave this his little spiel and he was like, I'm gonna declare for the Rumble, da, 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 da. And then Seth comes out, yeah, me too, and then Drew, yeah, me too, and
Me
it's like,
too. Yeah. It's like we got to hurry and get everybody in there. And then you already
okay,
had John
cool,
Cena. You already had Roman Reigns. You
yeah,
have Rey Mysterio that
yeah.
declared for the Rumble this week. So,
So here's what I say we do instead. Let's bring back the go home on the go home shows of Raw and SmackDown, the lottery draw for who goes in at what number.
yeah.
I
That's
think
cool.
that was more exciting because everyone's going to do it. I remember seeing like when Eddie Guerrero stole Ric Flair's number because Eddie got like a low number. I forgot what it was. I think it was like 8 or something like that. And Ric Flair had like 28 or 27, and Eddie like bumped into him and like stole it. I thought that was hilarious and that was
Yeah.
great. So because you can have segments like that. Plus, it's
You
time
can.
filler if they need to fill it. But anywho, that's my little rant. But
Yeah.
I was very happy with the next match, which was Penta's debut, going up against Chad Gable. I said it before, that was a great opponent for him to face for his debut. Very, very, you could tell he was very excited and nervous
Yeah. Yeah.
because he did slip up a couple times. He really did. Even my wife turned to me and she's like, "Did he mess up?" I'm like, "A little bit." He slipped on the ropes. He he was a little
There
over
were a
eager.
couple of spots early on where and he's caught a lot of crap online about at least what I've seen where, oh, that was horrible. See, he didn't live up to expect. I was like, give the guy a break. Like he was he was definitely nervous when he started, but as the match went on, then he settled down and he was great to close it out. From my opinion, I thought it
I
was
mean,
great.
with all due respect, I mean, he's used to competing in front of 20 people at AEW. So now he has like a full arena. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, let's give him a
it was a
break
big
here.
moment. His family was
Yeah,
ringside. His
it's a
daughter was
huge crowd.
crying.
His daughter's in the front row with his wife and his kids. Like they're like,
Yeah,
it's an emotional moment.
it is.
I think I saw in the beginning, like he even had like the wrong foot, like he was trying to get situated. You could tell he was excited, he was nervous, and it's a big deal. I mean, you're
It
on
is.
Netflix. This isn't like network television anymore, and you're with WWE, which is honestly, let's be real, WWE is considered the big leagues, and
They
so
are.
this is
They are.
this is his like he's like, damn, I made it, and he's just a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling. And one thing I did hear, I mean, of course, yeah, the match was great. He did great. He hit the Mexican Destroyer, and I love that they called it the Mexican Destroyer, which is awesome. I know technically it was originally
And Chad Gable
Canadian.
sold the heck out of that
He
too. Like
did. Oh my God, he did.
that was
Yes.
great. I'm glad he didn't just pop up. Because a lot of guys just pop up after Destroyers now,
Yeah.
and he looked like he had been murdered. Which I was hoping that was going to be the end of the match, because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like cover him and that's it. Like, he obviously ended up kicking out. He shouldn't have kicked out of it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, he hit
But
the
he looked
Penta
great.
driver. That's
Yeah,
technically his
he
finish.
did.
So he
But I'm
was
like,
that.
come on, like how do you come back from that? The way he
Yeah.
sold it was so devastating. It's like, just
I was. Yeah.
let him have it.
I was wondering if he was going to hit the package pile driver because that's one of his other signature moves. But I know
Yeah.
they're kind of saving that for Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
So I
it's
don't
Kevin
think
Owens'
they're.
band move.
Yeah. Yeah, band move because now he can do it. So we'll see. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. His speech. I think I heard a lot of some of the wrestlers got kind of upset because his post match promo kind of went long, and
Yeah,
it went long, and I think they had to cut out some stuff as a result. Which is, I don't believe they had to cut out. I don't think people
and
were
they only
mad.
went
I
two and a
think that's
half
just a
hours. That's
rumor.
why I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
see how. It feels like they had
exactly.
plenty of time.
Especially going
And
back to what I said earlier, if
yeah,
Triple H said we're going to do as long as we need to, we don't have a time constraint. Then they didn't. I think that's just rumor and speculation,
I
to be
think
honest with you,
so.
because I think he did great in his debut, and then his promo post match is what put him completely over with the crowd. And nobody knew the Cero Miedo chants just yet, but they will. Most of them did. You can hear him in the crowds here and there, and I think that's going to build as people get what it is and understand what he is and his gimmick and everything. His promo talking about, it was very emotional. He did it in English and Spanish, primarily in Spanish, obviously, because he is from Mexico, and I mean, he's a luchador. And he was talking about pretty much how hard he's worked to get there, and now that he's finally here, it's a new era for him, not just WWE. It's a new era for him, and we're going to see a lot out of him. And I think it was a very heartfelt and emotional promo that put him even more over with the crowd, because he got a huge pop at the end, and everyone was just losing it for him. And now it's like he was trending everywhere. And I think that's exactly what WWE was hoping for with him. And I'm so glad they finally brought him in. And I know, and I heard that Rey Fenix, his brother, is actually almost up at AEW as well. So we'll probably be seeing him come over soon, unless WWE buys out his contract, which I don't think would happen. So
Well,
in a
and
few
Penta
years,
was wearing the Lucha Bros gloves, right?
yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel like they wouldn't have let him wear the Lucha Bros gloves if they weren't planning on taking his brother. Like
Yeah. Oh, they're
I feel like
planning
his
on it.
brother.
That's a tag team. You can't have
Yeah,
you can't have Penta without Ray. I mean, they go hand in hand. So
yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time. I heard there's a few other AEW stars following coming out, because they're seeing. I know AEW is supposed to be coming out on Max, but it's not streaming on Max. They're just going to have the matches available
Oh,
on
yeah,
Max,
like in the
which
library.
is, it's cool. It's cool. I think it's just Tony Khan trying to copy a little bit of WWE, trying to gain. I feel like AEW kind of fell off a little bit,
They have.
unfortunately. I
I
know
mean,
it's an unpopular opinion. I'm going to hear a lot of crap about it in the comments, but I feel like they have. They wouldn't. They're
I think as
relying
far as
on
the
the old.
product goes, I
Yeah.
think they have. I think the wrestling is still. I mean, Kenny Omega is still Kenny
Oh,
Omega.
of course, wrestling's still
The
great.
wrestling's still top notch.
Yeah.
Ricochet, I think, has gone over there, and they're doing some stuff with him that's kind of funny. I mean, at least they're showcasing him, but Ricochet is still Ricochet. He's still a great wrestler. So I think they've got a lot of talent. It's just, I think, from a storytelling aspect, it's not what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So who knows? We'll see what becomes of it. I'm very excited, very happy for Penta.
Yeah.
Congratulations, felicidades. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's
congratulations.
great.
My only complaint about this match was I felt like it should have been a little bit more dominant for Penta. Like I felt like this was a very like 50-50 back and forth down to the wire
Mm,
match with Chad Gable, and I think they should have had him be a little bit more dominant, like showcase him a little bit more, make him look a little stronger. Chad Gable's obviously great. The match, it started out with some trouble, and then they got it together, and I think it was just a nerves thing, and it was
yeah,
really really good. By the time it finished, it was just I wish she had kind of come out a little bit more dominant for his debut. But
I could hear that.
that's a small complaint.
My only complaint is I'm not 100% sold on his ring music.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% yet. I guess because like I'm used to hearing the Lucha Bros theme, and technically I know he can't use the Lucha Bros theme yet. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was like I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. I have to go back and listen to it. I haven't
Yeah.
heard it all yet. It just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But after that, we had Sheamus against Ludwig Kaiser. It was again what you'd expect. They just very
Yeah.
physical, aggressive match. And Sheamus ends up winning. Altercation with Braun Breaker ringside, of course, because he still wants at that Intercontinental title, and I think he got it right.
Yeah, that's what he got it. Saturday Night Main Event. It's going to be
Yeah,
Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. We'll see if they let Sheamus have it. Hey, let him have his moment. That's the one
the
title
one
he's
that's
been
eluded
chasing.
him.
Yeah,
Yep.
do they do the storybook ending at Saturday Night Main Event? Maybe, because they like to try to change maybe one title on that show. I don't
Yeah.
think Gunther's going to lose,
No,
so
Gunther's
who
not
knows?
losing.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And then after that, we had Jey Uso again promo against Gunther, talking about he wants to go after. Or Gunther came out actually to talk about how great he is. That typical Gunther spiel thing that there's nobody out there that can compete with him. Jey Uso comes out, Gunther kind of laughs at it, and Jey Uso's kind of like, "No, I'm done with all. Now that I'm done with Bloodline, which means he's not going to stay around with the Bloodline anymore." So he says, "Now that that business is behind me, my eyes are back on that title." Gunther kind of jokingly laughed, brushed him off, but then said, "You know what?" Kind of like throwing him a bone, was like, "You want it? You got it." And he's like,
Yeah,
"We'll get it Saturday main event. I'll give it to you." And so they're gonna have a match. And I don't think, like I told you, I don't think Gunther's gonna lose the title, but I think they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna try and put Jay over on this match a little bit, make him look a little bit more strong as a contender, or I don't know. I don't see them burying Jay. I just see it as like it's gonna be like a back and forth, and Gunther's gonna squeak by. Which I don't know if I'm a fan
yeah.
of either because he's the champ. But
Yeah,
what do you
I
think?
don't know what they're gonna do on that one, because like this one was pretty straightforward. Of like, you want it, you got it. Like, okay,
Yeah,
we
that was
set up a
it.
match really abruptly for Saturday Night Main Event. I'm still kind of in the wait and see of, do you have, he's done with the Bloodline, but Bloodline 2.0 is not done with him,
Yeah.
and Solo pops out to like mess with him. Like I half expect something like that to happen
Yeah.
at this point, because
To drag him back into
it's
the
the
feud.
safe play where, we're not going to make anybody look weak. We'll like Jay look strong, but then you've got Tama Tonga and Jacob come rushing in and it ends with the DQ. I feel like there's going to be something really flat that
Hmm.
happens like that, but I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see. After that, we had Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And our winner is Lyra Valkyria. She
Yeah,
did get the GTK. She actually, I'm sorry, Dakota Kai hit the GTK, but I like that they didn't have Lyra kick out. Instead, she rolled.
yeah. She like rolled her momentum, carried her out of the ring, as
Exactly.
Michael
So that
Cole could
that
say.
works. I'm okay with that. Then she was able to get, regroup herself, and then she hit the Nightwing and took the title, won the title. I was happy with this. I think that it's a good choice. It's a new up and comer. She's a great wrestler. I feel like she's kind of been pushed to the side a little bit, storyline wise, and I think this will help to kind of give her something more to do aside from just like hang out with the party girls, or what was her name, Katana Chance, and
And
what's
Caden Carter. Yeah.
yeah, there you go, Kaden Carter. So I mean, maybe this will give her something more to do, which I'm
Hmm.
glad and I'm happy to see. So yeah, congratulations to Lyra. That
Yeah.
was great to see.
Congrats. No surprises here. Like I kind of knew in the
Hmm.
final, I'm like, it's probably going to be
Yeah,
Lyra Valkyrie versus Dakota Kai.
yeah.
So Lyra picks up the win. First women's Intercontinental Champion, but not first woman to hold the Intercontinental Champion.
Yes,
That's
they had
still
to clarify
China.
that because
You
China
gotta
won the
clarify it.
Intercontinental title, but that was technically the men's title, is what they're
Yeah.
saying, and
But
they
put a little
created the
asterisk
women's
next to it.
title. Yeah,
Yeah. Little asterisk next to it. Rest
but
in
let's
peace,
be
China.
honest, China back then would just completely decimate
Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria.
Lyra or Rhea Bloody Ripley or any of those
Yeah,
others. Like I think she absolutely would.
yeah. China would have destroyed Nia Jax. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah. She had to
I
press
will
her over
go.
her head.
Yeah, I would totally stand by that.
Yeah.
After that, we had a quick match put together backstage through a confrontation with Miz, Karrion Cross, and Sami Zayn, challenging Miz to show that he hasn't changed. It's the Miz who's changed. It's one of those kind of throwaway matches. Sami
Yeah.
Zayn won. No real stakes here, other than just to give Sami Zayn something to do outside of Bloodline stuff.
Yeah, I
I
will
mean,
say the one note from this one is that Sammy won with the Blue Thunder Bomb for once. Now he
I
had the
saw. I was just about to say he
he
heard you, and he
he
finally won with the Blue Thunder
I
Bomb.
was like, what? But I mean, asterisk next to this one too because he hit the haluva kick first. So it's
Yeah.
haluva
But
kick
no,
the
you know what?
pin.
That was a brutal haluva kick.
Yeah.
Like that even caught me off guard. That came out of
Well,
nowhere. I heard that
that's where I was like,
smack and I was like,
now it's just piling on Sammy because you hit the Blue Thunder Bomb after that. So that's where I was like, oh, he won with it, but it was really the haluva kick, and then this was just a little extra on top so that he could be like, hey, he actually won with it for once.
yeah.
Which has always been the criticism of he hits it and then looks surprised every time, like, oh, they kicked out of it. It's like they always kick out of it,
Yeah, they're
except for
calling
this
it
week. So
a
congrats,
haluva
Sammy.
kick Blue Thunder Bomb combination.
Yeah, it was all ran together, but
There you
good job,
go.
Sammy.
After that, we had Rhea Ripley out to celebrate her title, of course, interrupted by Nia Jax, and Bayley came out to stand. And of course, they did what all groups of people do near the Royal Rumble. They declared for the Rumble. So that
Yeah, that's what happened. I declared for the Rumble and they got thrown out of the ring, and it was like, all right, peace.
yeah, because that's just how we roll around the Rumble time.
Yeah.
After that, we had Damian Priest and Finn Balor in a street fight, which actually came out really good. It was Damian Priest comes out with the kendo stick, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, and he's standing there just waiting. Finn Balor's music hits, but Finn Balor comes in from behind and starts attacking him, which is how we start the street fight, which is great. It's a good way to start the street fight. There are no rules. You do whatever you want.
Well, and he is backstabbing Balor, so that should have been obvious. Like
Yeah,
everything is like, and he even like said it like in the promo. He's like, "You better turn around because backstabbing Balor's gonna stab you in the back." And I was like, "Look behind you, dude.
yeah.
He told you." He told
He's
you
like,
it was
hey,
coming.
he's not coming out yet. He must be
Like,
scared. No, he's
what?
right behind you.
Yeah, it's like, come on. He actually literally telegraphed this.
But it was actually a fun match. I enjoyed it. Of course, there was shenanigans, there was interference, but of course, in a street fight, it don't matter
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
all legal.
expected.
Yeah,
It's expected. You had I like seeing the broken arrow from the top of the crowd
yeah.
area down to the tables. That looked pretty awesome. Of course, Finn Balor in the stretcher. You had that image of Finn Balor just kind of being carried out, and I was like, I mean, of course, they showed the replay, and they could have gotten a better camera angle to hide the fact that Balor did not hit that table
Yeah.
anywhere near his neck. But it was great. It was good. I enjoyed the match very much. I like me a good old fashioned street fight, and that's exactly what this was. You had Damian Priest go back and like grab Finn Balor and roll him back into the ring, and tell him, hey, it's time. We're not finished. And the doctors, no, don't get him.
Yeah.
Throws him back in, and that's when you had the Judgment Day come out to try and do their thing, and then Viking Raiders. I mean, not Viking Raiders, War Raiders. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why is this? Ooh, okay, sorry. War Raiders come out and they hit their marks and they start getting JD McDonough and Carlito out the way, clear the way, so that Damian Priest can come back. Coup de grace. I thought Finn Balor had it when he was hitting the coup de grace, and
Yeah.
that was interesting. But
Lots of kicking out of finishers in this
yeah,
one.
there's
Like
in
there
this
was
one
a
there's a
bunch
lot.
of them.
Yeah, but it finally hit the South of Heaven for the win, and I'm sure that's not the end of the feud, but
Yeah, I mean they said it was. Like I think in the commentary Cole was like, "This is it. This is the end of this feud. We're
is it
moving
though?
on." And it's like, I don't see how it could be.
Yeah,
This is my match of the night too. I enjoyed
yeah,
it thoroughly. I mean, little complaints like if Finn was so incapacitated that they were stretching him out, and then all of a sudden, as soon as Damian Priest ran him back down and smashed him, ran him in the ring, he was fine after that. He never had any issues. Like he was acting like a new man. So I was like, okay, well then why are you stretching him out with a neck brace on? Clearly he wasn't that hurt. The
exactly.
War Raiders were kind of late getting down there. Like DP was getting smashed by everybody, and I was like, "Where are the War Raiders? They're coming out at some point." And they
Yeah,
waited until he was like totally decimated, and then they came running
they're waiting
down.
for
I
their
guess,
music
yeah, they were like, oh, "Come on, man, find it!" And he's like looking on the iPod for it. I was like, it took a little
because
too
it's
long for
Vince
that.
technology. They're still using iPods.
Yeah, and he's like, hold on, it's an iPod one. That's why it was taking too long. He's like, he's doing the wheel.
I
So
passed it. I gotta go back.
that's where I'm like, okay, that took him a little too long to get out there. And then you had what was it, the South of Heaven
Hmm.
with the chair
Hmm.
on Finn Balor, and Finn kicked out of it, and I was like, really, he kicked out of that? the chair south of heaven, but he didn't kick out of the regular. So just like little things like that. Too many kick out of finishers for my taste. But those are small complaints. This is a good one.
Yeah, I agree. So next week, sorry, we have a pretty stacked card again. We have Seth against Drew coming up. We have, let's see, Jay is gonna come out, I guess. We'll hear from Jay. A New Day is gonna come back and debut their heel gimmick. So I'm excited to see it, honestly, because Kofi and Xavier Woods are really good with their gear and their personas. I think this is gonna be a great. I'm looking forward to the debut of the heel New Day. I know when they first debuted, they were the New Day. They were heel by force because the crowd just hated them. But
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. We're going to have Lara Valkyria, and maybe she's going to do an open challenge or just talk about winning. JBL is going to be there. Damage Control.
JBL taking over for Pat McAfee, right? Because I think he's got the national championship game or something.
Exactly. And then you have Damage Control with Pure Fusion Collective. I hate that freaking name, but whatever. And then I guess Sami Zayn's going to have a promo, so we'll see what happens. Should be interesting Raw, but yeah. But one thing I didn't mention was your favorite wrestler, Jake Paul, had his own little promo talking about how he's going to be the face of WWE. I love how he said he was like all in
Logan
now.
Paul, right? Not Jake.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Logan Paul. Sorry, Logan Paul.
I dislike both the Paul brothers. So give me.
I don't like them either. I don't like either one. So Jake's going to get knocked out by Canelo if that ever happens. I'm going to go on record and say that.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
But anyways.
He faces fights. But
yeah, no. But anywho, Logan Paul did his little promo, which I only bring up because when they said he was going to be part of the Raw roster, he was like, I'm going all in. I'm going to be a full-time competitor. I have yet to see his ass on any of these shows except for that promo that he did pre-recorded.
He was standing in the crowd like in the Netflix. Like the first night he was
but if you're a legit, everyone else, like it feels like they had like they pulled out all the stops and did like the top people in the first Raw, obviously because they're trying to lure everybody in. And then the second one was kind of like, debuts, other, hey, we have other talent also, like they're showcasing the others. And he's still nowhere to be seen in that part in the ring. I'm talking about in the ring where you're supposed to be if you're an actual competitor. I'm guessing we're not going to see him till the Rumble. That's going to be my guess because, and of course they're going to
probably because, and that's kind of in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. They really just have to kind of kill time for a short period, and I'm sure he'll be in the men's Rumble.
Yeah, he will. But whatever. I hope he gets eliminated by like Hornswoggle or something. So
a returning Hornswoggle takes about he'll be like in the final 8. I'll say like he's going to be one of those late.
Of course he is.
But the Rumble's so stacked. Like there's a lot of folks that need to get eliminated. So this will definitely be interesting.
The biggest question is, does John Cena win the Rumble? I think so.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. And here's the reason. Because he's already said that he's going to be in Elimination Chamber. So, because he keeps doing the whole, well, I'll do this and this. And I'm like, so the Rumble's not your one chance to win. So I think something's going to happen at the Rumble where I do think The Rock's going to come out and eliminate Roman. And I think maybe John Cena eliminates The Rock. And then I think you have CM Punk maybe eliminating John Cena and winning. I think Punk, since he was the runner-up last year, he'll be the winner this year. And then that frees up John Cena to be like, well, I was the final 2. I didn't make it in there, but I'm going to be in Elimination Chamber. And then maybe they let him win an Elimination Chamber because he's got plenty of opportunities. I don't think that they use the Rumble one on him.
Oh, there's Money in the Bank too.
Yeah, Money in the Bank technically. It's like he's got options. So I feel like they're going to use it for story to some other storytelling aspect. But I think he'll be towards the end. He'll be like one of the last couple of.
Yeah, like my gut is telling me that they might put him as the winner or at least one of the final 4. My hope is that I don't know. I honestly I don't know who I'd want to win. I feel like I don't know. I'm gonna marinate on that one because there's a few that I could see.
Who do I want to win? Joe Hendry.
Yeah. The what? Joe Hendry?
That's who I want to win. He's not going to win, but I'm like, if we're just throwing out at there into the universe, that would be amazing. If Joe Hendry comes in and he's like in the final, it's like CM Punk, John Cena, The Rock, and Joe Hendry.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious as to see how it's going to go down because it'll probably be Roman.
Yeah.
more than likely, because he's on that trend to back, because they're going to want to build up that storyline with. But you're saying Rock's going to eliminate Roman, so we'll see. Unless Cody eliminate. No, Cody can't be in it. He's the champion.
Yeah, he's the champ. He's already tied up with Kevin Owens.
It's going to be Jacob. Damn it.
It's going to be Logan Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God, no.
It's going to. Okay. Anyways, but we'll see.
Then we had SmackDown.
We'll see. SmackDown. So we had 6 matches on SmackDown. So I'll give SmackDown an A+ for effort because of 6 matches. But the quick rundown is you had Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio in we'll call it the co-main event, and they set that up early because it's Rey's hometown. They were in San Diego. So this felt more like a house show kind of thing for me, where it was like, here's the hometown hero, and then it was like random Kevin Owens comes out because they need something for him to do in the lead up, and they can't have him fight Cody. And so it did feel a little kind of contrived for them to be facing each other. And it was the premise of, when you win the Royal Rumble, Rey, because you just declared, you can challenge me for my Winged Eagle belt. And he's like, but you're not really the champ. And he was like, what? Don't call me that. And then freaked out. And that was the whole setup for.
Well, he got mad because he said he was reminding him of his son, Dom.
Of Dom, yeah. And
How dare you?
It's like the blasphemy. But so that set up Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio. And that was the co-main event of the night, which Kevin Owens ended up winning. He did win, and then after the win, he tried to go for that package pile driver on Rey Mysterio, and then Cody ran down, and they just brawled with each other. As more of the continuation of the setup of these two will see each other in 2 weeks at the Royal Rumble in a ladder match. So that happened. We also had Bianca Belair and Naomi take on and defeat Candice LeRae and Nia Jax in a tag match, which was a good match. It was just like, again, just felt like people trying to figure out stuff to do. It was a non-title match, so there wasn't really anything on the line. You had Jimmy Uso defeat Carmelo Hayes, and this one was a disqualification because
no contest.
Tonga Loa came running down and did a no contest, and then you had LA Knight and Braun Strowman run out and drive off the Bloodline. So they're just kind of figuring out stuff for everybody to do.
I mean, okay, hold on. I'm a little annoyed at the fact that we just glazed over the whole Jacob lost to Roman, and we have yet to see Roman and Jacob together in the ring, because Jacob said that if he loses, he will acknowledge Roman Reigns. I'm sorry,
Solo, right?
Solo. Sorry, it's not Jacob. Sorry, Solo. I'm thinking about Jacob too, but I always seen. I guess what I was trying to say is always seen is Jacob.
Yeah,
and Tama Tonga. That's all we see. We finally see Solo on SmackDown.
Yeah,
still no Roman and Solo confrontation. That has been
and Solo didn't even do anything. He literally walked out to the ring. So you had the attack, and then he walks down to the ring with a microphone and went to commercial. When they came back from commercial, it was like during commercial they wouldn't let him get a word in, and then he just dropped the mic and walked off. And I was like, so we got nothing.
Is Roman on vacation or something? Is he
probably? He's rested up for the Rumble.
He's in Cancun. I mean, good Lord. It's just it boggles my mind that for a company that thrives on storylines, we have yet to close the loop on one very important one, and they're already tying in other wrestlers in LA Knight and Braun Strowman. Obviously, I know they have their connections in some way or form or fashion. That's fine, but we still need to close the loop on this story, and that's what's
and maybe they do it at the Rumble. Maybe Solo's in the Rumble and he eliminates Roman. I don't know. Maybe they do. They got to figure something out, because it is odd that he's just disappeared, and then they had nothing here. And then you had Jacob cut the promo where he was just like, "I'm tired of the hate." And then he was like, even on my bad day, you still can't touch me. And we're just getting started. And that's when LA Knight came out and ambushed him. And then Braun Strowman came out to help. It all felt so random. LA Knight, not so much, because they had attacked LA Knight a couple of times. They have history. The Strowman one, it was like, okay, Strowman just needs something to do. And
because he said he hates bullies. It's the cop out.
It's enough motivation there.
He hates bullies, guys. I love Braun Strowman. Don't get me wrong. I freaking love Braun Strowman. I love Braun Strowman. He was a strongman competitor and a powerlifter. He's a cool fucking dude. He's a beast.
He's a monster. Yeah. But he's a monster among monsters. The monster of all
One
monsters.
Big SOB.
He won it. One big SOB. But this had a very much like a house show feel, where it's just people kind of getting run into each other that don't necessarily make the most sense as they killed time. So you had that. And that was probably one of the more notable things. You had Motor City Machine Guns defeat Los Gatos in the don't call it a tag tournament. It's not a tag tournament, but they are all competing against each other as they
competition to see who wins.
Tournament.
An opportunity
where each person wins and advances to face the other one, but it's not a tag tournament. So
it's Mortal Kombat. Let's just call it Mortal Kombat.
And you had Pretty Deadly trying to help Los Garza win, even though they narked them out before, and they lied about them being the attackers instead of DIY, but they were trying to help them advance because they felt like they had a better chance against Los Garza. And Los Garza is a great team, so I
They
don't know
are.
why they would feel that they have a better chance against Los Garza than they do against the Motor City Machine Guns. But to no avail, Motor City Machine Guns won with the Skull and Bones, and they advanced. But a lot of and then DIY just backstage talking to Pretty Deadly like, "You help us, we'll help you," kind of thing, even though they haven't been helping Pretty Deadly.
Yeah.
So they're continuing that piece. Piper Niven took on BFAB in a time filler
that
match.
was set up before, so I give them credit for that. At least that was
they at least did some storytelling with that one. Piper did end up winning with the Piper Driver, although she looked more vulnerable in this one again. And I know I complained about this last week too. I'm so used to Piper at least being like this dominant force, and against BFAB it was very competitive throughout, and BFAB even had the upper hand for most of the early parts of the match. So little disappointing that they've taken some of that aura off of Piper, and especially now that you have her as Chelsea Green's like Secret Service bodyguard.
Yeah, which I thought was great because she walked into the locker room and she was like she looked at Michin and she looked at BFAB. She's like, "Oh, there's no threats here. You can come in." I'm like, "Damn."
Like I love the Secret Service thing that they're doing with her because
Madam Champion. That was the greatest thing.
I like the comedy aspect, but it's also like Piper's supposed to be like to be able to bulldoze people, and but she hasn't. They haven't. She got the win here, but she didn't really.
She's a little more tame than what she has been.
Yeah, she's looked more mortal at this point,
which is a shame because when she first came out, I know it was flipped, right? It was Chelsea was kind of like hiding behind Piper because Piper was like the powerhouse. You know, that was the only woman that would at the time on the roster be able to compete up against Nia Jax. And I think they did feud at one point, but that was, you know, it's a shame that they kind of hyped down on that a little bit and they haven't let her really be like that aggressor, which it would make more sense for her to be that aggressive right now. Because like, I'll give you an example. Look at Jacob and Solo. Everyone's terrified of Jacob. They won't touch Solo because of Jacob. It should be the same way.
It should
with Piper and Chelsea Green. And I would like to know, I love the whole gimmick that Chelsea Green's done because now she's the U.S. champ. Even though she's Canadian, she's always wearing patriotic USA flag.
Yeah, she's like she got like a whole USA motif that she's doing,
which I think is hilarious and awesome at the same time. I love it. I think that's because she's the U.S. champ. Like I was like, that's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But anywho, yeah, I agree with that about Piper. I think that they should let her be like that monster. In there, like maybe you know do the comedy stuff, but then like you piss her off, and it's like, hey, now
she should be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree.
Versus like 50-50 matches.
Yeah, she should have just taken out BFAB. BFAB's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. I remember when she debuted, she's gotten good, but
they haven't showcased her on the main. She's mostly been a Piper.
This should have been a squash match.
Roster.
Yeah, this should have been a squash match.
She should have just destroyed her pretty easily.
Yeah,
but they did that kind of early. The last time we saw BFAB when she was in the the tournament for the
tournament, the triple threat match.
Yeah, it's triple threat. And
she did
had
well.
Her be they had her be super dominant, like out the gate.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they're trying to continue with that, but I'm like, nah, this felt like more of an opportunity to let's reestablish Piper as a legitimate threat and a bully, and then you can kind of do the dynamic if you want to between her and Chelsea Green.
Well, because then it'll mean more. It'll mean more if so. Like, here's my thing: if you let Piper be the aggressor, the dominant one, and be dominant across the women's division on SmackDown, then it means more for BFAB to hold her own against her. You know what I mean? Like that, it means a lot more than it does right now. And it's not putting down Piper in any way. We know what she's capable of. She's a great wrestler. She's a great powerhouse. But I don't feel that they're actually letting her be that person right now. They kind of have her like underneath Chelsea, which I get it. Chelsea's the champion. But I mean, let's look back when you had, hell, even Shawn Michaels and Triple H would do it with Chyna. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was, you know, they had their enforcer. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's
and she really should be like an enforcer role. That's really what she should be.
Yeah, and look back at. I'll even take a step further. Look at MJF at AEW when he had his, what was his name? Oh, dang it, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. But he had his own enforcer. I know the name. I know the face right now, but it'll hit me later. But he had an enforcer. Again, not a weak champion, but they had somebody that just took care of their light work for them. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel that's what they should do with Piper. I wish they would. If there's any way to get that message out to them, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because Piper's great, and but
yeah,
I love the shtick that she's doing with the Secret Service stuff. Like, I think it's really, really fun. Yeah, just a little more dominant. It shouldn't be so down to the wire with her picking up these victories. And then our main event was the women's WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton's first title defense against Bayley. So I really enjoyed this match for a couple of reasons, because they made Tiff look strong.
they
She
did.
didn't have any support. She didn't have anybody out there backing
She's by
her up.
herself now.
She was by herself. She had a little bit of arrogance to her, and I think the play on this was that obviously Bayley's the seasoned veteran, multi-time champion. So obviously Bayley was going to give her a run for her money, which she did. So it was competitive. Tiff won clean, which I loved. It's like they had Roxanne Perez, like she was ringside, and they kind of teased that, oh, was she going to do something? She really didn't. Her and Bayley jawed like one time while
she did call her out for next week. There's like a post-show interview or backstage kind of thing where she did call out Bayley for next week, which would be a nice match to see.
Should be a good match, but she didn't like do anything substantial to interfere in.
And she shouldn't have.
Yeah, like, because I felt like, oh, don't do anything to take the shine off of Tiffany. Like, make her seem formidable, and she did. She hit the Alabama Slam, and then Prettiest Moonsault, got a clean victory. Looked good doing it. Looked dominant throughout the match. I mean, had times where Bayley obviously gave her some trouble because it's Bayley, but I really enjoyed this because they didn't just go out and have her cheat to win. They didn't have interference where there was something controversial. It was like, oh, Bayley had it stolen from her, or Tiff stole this victory. None of that.
You don't want to cheapen it because
look like a strong champ, and so I really dug that. I wonder if they're now are they going to start rotating her more towards a face, because she's really over with the crowd.
I think she is. I think she will be a face. I think it was going to be more like hey, I was a heel only because I was trying to betray Nia. I was kind of being like the Trojan horse, but I think she is going to be more face, because I mean the crowd loves her way too much for them not to like turn her face.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be a huge shift in her personality either. Like,
I'm about to say, truth be told, she already acts like a face. So like,
yeah, I mean, she's like acts like a very confident, arrogant face, but when I look at it,
I mean, so is Charlotte, so is Becky, so is Rhea.
Rhea Ripley was like a full blown heel. And very slowly they just kind of took the edge off her a little bit, but she's still like dominant and mean and whipping everybody and disrespecting people, but she's nicer to the crowd. It's really what it is.
That's really all you have to do, honestly. I mean, it's fine. But I did like this. I thought it was hilarious when they did the interview with Bayley with Byron Saxton, and she's wearing the 49ers vest. I'm like, oh, she's gonna lose. She's wearing the Niners vest.
She jinxed it. Bad choice. Poor choice.
Yeah. But I'm like, Niners fans gonna hate me. I don't care. I don't like the Niners. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you're a Cowboys fan, so
exactly.
I'm a Steelers fan. We got bounced from the playoffs, so we're also.
I can talk all the trash I want because we're all on the same ship. We're all sitting on the couch watching the games.
Exactly.
But honest and seriousness, though, I knew that Tiffany Stratton wasn't going to lose her first defense.
Yeah, she was 14-day champion. It wasn't going to happen.
They took so long to have her cash in. They took so long, and we practically gave up on the cash in at one point. And they finally let her do it. I knew that they weren't going to let her give it up the first match. I think that's great. I'm glad they didn't, and I want to see her. I hope she has a good long title run. I heard that Charlotte Flair is going to be returning.
Yeah, they had a promo video and it was right before the main event, I think is when they did it.
Conveniently,
and it was a video package for Charlotte Flair, and I'm like, so I'm assuming she's coming back at the Rumble. They didn't say specifically when.
No, but she will be back. Yeah,
it'll be Women's Rumble probably.
She's gonna come back at the Women's Rumble, and I think that's probably gonna be the next competitor for Tiffany Stratton, or the next feud for Tiffany Stratton, which would be a good one. It'd be a good test to her. I think.
I hope they let Tiff retain for a while though. I hope they.
I agree.
Back onto Charlotte.
I agree. Just because we haven't seen Becky Lynch back yet, and I think Becky Lynch will debut at the Rumble again. Because again, she's on the. It's not a surprise. She's on the Raw promos. Even if you do the preview on Netflix, it shows Becky Lynch. I'm like, yeah, she's back. But I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens with that. I'm excited for Tiffany Stratton and her title reign. I think that's going to be. Hopefully, it's a long one, and hopefully she can. Keep retaining. Bayley versus Roxanne Perez is going to be a great match.
Yeah,
Roxanne is a great wrestler, despite her size. I mean, some people see her stature and they think, oh, she can go. And I think that's going to be a great match between her and Bayley. I like that dynamic, and so I'm excited. We'll see. I mean, I love that wrestling has now become fun for us now because it's like there's so much happening, so many different things going on. It's harder and harder to predict here and there, but I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And you had a lot of people that were out due to injuries that are all coming. They're all healthy. They're all coming back now. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like all the stars are aligning. So it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that was Raw and SmackDown this week. We've got, like we said, next week is already going to be Saturday Night main event is coming up next week, and then the following week is the Rumble. So we got a
Yeah, they
couple
already
of
got 3
weeks.
matches for main event announced. So they
Piper
have Jey
both.
Uso and Gunther for the title, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and then Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. That is going to be a great.
That should be good.
That's going to be a good
That's
match.
going to be fun. And well, and that's where I wonder, are they going to follow the same format? Because last time, remember they did like 5 matches in 2.5 hours, and it was like fast and furious. And I was like, oh, this is so great. I'm like, are they going to?
I hope they do
take the same approach. Gosh, I hope so, because I really, really enjoyed the last one where it was all wrestling centric, almost no promo. That'll be great. But if you're gonna do Braun and Jacob, you got to do like a street fight or something. Like
it has to go outside the ring. Yeah,
it has to do some big spots there. Like there's too much opportunity there. And then I'm wondering, what's the timetable for, what's his name? The other Braun. Gosh.
Oh, Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed. Yeah,
He'll come back for Rumble. I'm sure
for
he
Rumble.
will.
Well, I'm like, he should pop up in the Braun Strowman Jacob Fatu match and tsunami somebody.
He should.
It's like, dude, he's hopefully he's healthy. I know he broke his ankle, right?
Yeah, he broke his foot. Yeah. The way he landed on the floor and stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully he's recovering nicely. He's maybe back for the Rumble, maybe back for that one, but we'll see.
Be great.
So it should be a fun couple of weeks. But yeah, that was the week that was. We'll be back next week with more shenanigans. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, everyone. We appreciate all the support as always. Leave us your comments if you agree, disagree, or just want to talk wrestling. Give your opinions. We'll always love to hear from y'all, and that's what we got. So until next week, I've been Michael D'Angelo. He's been Big D Daryl Ortiz. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll see you soon.